Who is y'all's favorite child?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Hi everyone, welcome to Trace and Lydia, and today we have very special guests.
I don't know about
Yes,
that.
they are, because they're the reason I'm here. And this is Mom and Gil Bates.
He's got us feeling nervous. He said he's asking us questions.
Yes, we are going to be doing, hopefully if we can get to all 10 questions, we're going to be asking them some questions they have not heard of before yet.
If we don't know the answers, can we defer to y'all?
Well, y'all can defer, but we're going to ask them and see what happens.
Okay.
So we got some really
Is this like
good
on
questions.
like on trial or something?
Yeah, something like that. We are very blessed. We are very close to our wedding. I think we're like 19 days away. And
19 days.
yes, I know, it's very hard to believe. I don't know.
Is it actually?
It is. We also have mom and dad have been doing a really good job at counseling us and giving us some great advice. So some of the things that they've told us, we have some questions we're asking back to them, but also we're gonna find out some things about Mom and Pop's with their relationship back in the day. So we're going all the way back.
Going pretty good.
It's going old school. I know that this is year 35, or you're on year 35, or coming up on.
Oh, he's the mathematician. He's laughing because, hey, don't take it personal. I don't even know my birthday, like how old I am, okay?
It's going to be 35.
Thank you.
Okay.
I need a little bit of help.
It's about to be 35 years. So we want to ask some of the questions, how they made it this far.
Woo.
And what they did. Okay, starting off, let's just do a simple question. And y'all don't feel like you have to go short, answer how y'all want to.
Right.
But our first question is, we just want to find out a little bit about y'all, and we just want to find out, how did y'all meet?
Okay, we have two different stories.
The true story.
We want to hear both.
His
We wanna hear both
version and
sides.
my version. So you go
Let's hear
ahead,
Dad's
honey.
first.
Yours first.
Okay.
Yours first.
Okay, this is the real story, how it happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to college, and there were I had a roommate from my hometown. His name was Joel Cowan, and one day he came home. There were a group that would go out into the colleges, into churches from the college. They would do skits and sing and preach. And I was on a team, and Joel, my friend, was on another team. Well, in my sophomore year of college, Joel came to me about a couple weeks into school, maybe a month. He said, "You got to meet this girl. I mean, I think you guys would be a perfect match." And her name is Kelly Jo. And I said, "Now, Kelly Jo, that is a cool name." She actually had a shirt on the back. It had 2 zeros, and it said Joe Cool on it. So I thought,
No way.
oh yeah,
So she was Joe
she was
Cool.
the real thing.
Okay.
Now, I didn't realize this though, but I had never seen her or met her. So Joel said, "You got to meet this girl." So we're walking towards our dorms, and the post office is between the girls' dorm and the boys' dorm. I'm walking back, and he said, "Oh, that's her right there." And I said, "Oh, wow." And Joel said, "Hey, Kelly Jo," and he said, and I said, "Hey," and she said, "Hey, Joel," and just turned and walked away.
You're kidding me.
No, I mean, I watched her walk off in the distance.
You
and
are
I thought,
kidding me.
No, wait a minute.
Did she acknowledge you at all?
No, oh no.
Okay.
No,
wait
I
a
got to
minute.
tell you what happened. Let me say.
Okay, let's finish.
So let me just say. So I said, I have got to find out how to meet that girl. So he said, I said, "She didn't speak." He said, "Well, too bad." And so I'm just,
Oh my
I got to
goodness.
figure out who she is and what's going on. So I'm asking Joel all these questions.
Right.
Now, that's my version of how the story started.
Okay, now to my defense,
Let's hear yours.
I do not remember that exact day, but
I
will
remember.
say I did know Joel. I did not know him, so to my defense,
She doesn't speak. She said,
he
I
was
asked
a
her.
flirty guy. You know, I don't know. I didn't know him. I don't know the reason
Okay.
that I didn't speak because I don't remember that
Right.
occasion. What I remember was we were on these ministry teams that he talked about, and it was just a group of students. We would go to churches. Somebody from the team would preach. There would be some,
Right.
people singing, doing skits.
We were trying to
And
start a revival.
We were both on that same team, and I remember thinking, wow, I love the fact that he wants to do ministry. He's willing to just get up and preach. even if he's scared to do it.
Right.
Because
Oh,
back
I
in
was-
those days he was.
I still get
it.
scared all the time.
And I just love the fact that he had so much wisdom, but just such a ministry heart and mind.
Well, that was
And-
really sweet.
Yeah, I was very attracted to him. He was the best looking guy on campus.
No,
but
those are not-
that is
none
not
of
what
those are
attracted
true.
me to him.
So you don't recall that first
I
time?
do not.
What is the first time you recall meeting Dad?
On that ministry team,
Okay.
yeah.
But I will
Yeah.
say this: if I
And
could,
I was impressed.
well, I wasn't too impressive, but I got to meet this girl. So I later found out in my chemistry class, our chemistry teacher got a special. He had an assistant that would come and help. Well, she was only a freshman, but she took like college chemistry in high school.
I tested out to exempt chemistry in college.
Oh,
and
so
they,
Mom was a genius.
And they hired
So-
me to be the chemistry assistant.
So she was the assistant.
Gotcha.
So all of a sudden, I'm not really getting this chemistry class. So
You need help.
I found out she was the assistant. So I would call her. You couldn't the girls' dorm was you couldn't go in the rooms or anything. So I'd get the phone down there, and I got what room she was in. I said, "Can I talk to Kelly Jo?" And she would come to the thing. I said, "Well, I need some help in this chemistry. If you could come tutor me on some of this chemistry." So she came down,
Smart.
and I knew we had some chemistry.
Yeah, he knew how to play dumb because he didn't need tutoring. He just was.
It was real chemistry.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Joe was helping him out.
Yeah,
Cool
Joe
Joe.
Cool was helping me
Joe
out.
Cool.
Joe Cool was helping me
Okay.
learn chemistry. And I did pass the class with my assistant's help.
All right, so we got some other questions. I don't know if y'all want to answer, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay.
Now that's how we met.
Okay, so that's how you met.
But we were just friends, totally
Just
just
friends?
friends. Honestly, for like a year, we were only friends.
Okay.
You know, I would still
Yeah.
try to talk to her all the time, but she was
Now,
a busy
you want to
person.
hear how we started dating?
No, that's another.
That's
no,
another
that's-
question.
We just want to know
Okay.
how y'all met.
That's an
Alright,
embarrassing
okay.
moment. I have
Yes.
to say.
No, well, not all
Okay.
of it. Part of it is good.
Now here's another question: is
Okay.
what is some advice you would give to a newly married couple in the area of communication?
Okay, I feel like one of the first things that we tell couples is read books together out loud. The best time
Good
is when
advice.
you're going to bed at night because you're going to bed together, which is important. In today's society, a lot of couples don't go to bed at the same time. Go to bed together, and it puts you talking together before you go to bed, but it puts you on the same page. You're reading together. You're going to discuss it because you're reading it
Right.
together, and you're going to talk about things you wouldn't normally talk about. In a marriage, a lot of times it's the wife that reads the, marriage books.
Okay.
And then she's reading, oh, he should be doing this. And he doesn't know.
He hadn't read the book, so
You
he's
know?
thinking, he thinks everything is great and
Yeah.
life is going fine, and she's reading the books about communication and thinking, I knew I was right. He ought to be doing this, but he didn't know she was reading it,
Right.
and she didn't
Some
read it
good,
together.
godly books.
Yeah, what's
if
some
you
books? Give
keep
us-
if you keep reading together, it doesn't have to be every night. If it's
Yeah.
every other night, just read a chapter, whichever one of you likes to read
Or a
out
part of a
loud.
book.
Read one chapter or half a chapter a night, and then talk about it for a few minutes before you go to sleep or
So
cuddle.
for the people that are watching, can you give us some good books that y'all feel like has helped y'all and that would help us or other
Yes.
couples that are about to get married?
I feel like one of
married.
the best books on communication is by Gary Smalley and John Trent. It's
Okay.
called
Language of Love.
The Language of Love by
I think.
Gary Smalley and John Trent.
Okay.
Then there's The 5 Languages of
Okay.
Love by Gary Chapman,
Okay.
which is a great book on the different personalities and how you can meet the other one's needs through
Okay.
that.
Everybody in that particular book, everybody has something that really makes them feel loved. Something, and there's 5 different categories that he lays out that are different areas that kind of, he says, fills your love tank and makes you feel loved and valuable. Reading the book will help you find out what yours is and what your spouse's is, so you can know these things are important to her or these things are important to him.
Okay.
There's so many great marriage books. There's one that's really, really good. We read it a couple of weeks before we got married. It's called Love Life for Every Married Couple by Dr. Ed Wheat. He said he wrote it for couples that had been married like 20, 30, 40 years that had fallen out of love. But he said it's good for anybody, newlyweds in our case, anybody as preventative, but It deals with so many different areas in the relationship, but especially intimacy and some of the complications there, and helping you both get on the same page, and just putting that joy and spark back in your marriage. It's a great book.
That book is a book for married people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Or
going to be
fixing to be
married
married.
in like a week or two.
Yeah.
Okay, so for newly married people.
These are
Yeah.
newly married.
Perfect.
And it's about communication. It's about breakdowns of communication, but it's also, like my wife said, how to talk about difficult things on the intimate side of marriage that nobody talks about, and there's nobody you can talk to about it. It's like you have someone there with you as you read the book. Hey, these people experience this. This is something we're having, something's going through it in our marriage. And it really makes you realize we're all having the same kind of struggles, and we all are on the same page. But God can get us through any of them, because it is a clearly a Christian perspective on marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, that is incredible.
I got a long list.
Hopefully those
That's
people will
fine.
check. That's
I've got a
great.
long list, but that's a few.
Okay.
Oh, that's a couple good.
We got now we're on the subject of marriage,
Okay.
but you got another question for y'all, and
We might have a few questions we want to ask.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
really.
As a newly married couple, for y'all when y'all are newly married,
Okay.
how did y'all decide who was doing what chores? That's part one, and part two of the question is, after now almost 35 years, has those chores changed at all?
I think they've definitely changed, because I think no matter what subject you're talking about, whether it's parenting, whether it's marriage, whether it's you as an individual person, we all change over time. Some things we realize, hey, we need to, not do this, and some things we need to start doing. So I think we're all changing.
Okay. What about like chores?
But-
Let's say, like, for example, the laundry, the dishes,
Yes.
the trash, the mowing.
So-
Oh,
How did y'all
I think
decide
they're
those?
all fun to
So
do together.
I feel like we communicated a lot
Okay.
about those. When we first dated, Gil had this idea. I remember dating, and he would come home from work tired, and he would tell Mama Jane, his mom, Mama Jane, I'm hungry. I need you to get me something to eat.
Right.
And I remember saying,
Well, I just said I was hungry, and she'd say,
Right.
"Let me get you
Let
something
me
to eat,
make
honey."
it. Okay.
and sometimes it was like, Mama Jane, get me something to eat. I'm hungry.
Never that I remember.
They
But
might remember different. It's
Yeah.
been 35 years.
and I would say, honey, she's tired. Mama Jane just got home from work herself. You gotta go fix your own. So,
Right.
but in talking like that, we realized we were brought up two different ways.
Okay.
I was brought up in a home where my parents had gotten divorced, and everything was self-serve. You microwaved a frozen dinner. So
Right.
I had a different perspective than he had, and we had to learn early on that if we didn't communicate, we were going to be butting heads about a lot of things. And so you do come into a marriage with your ideology of how things are going to be. Who's going to do the yard work, or who's going to do the dishes, or who's going to do this.
Right.
And that can be a growing ground for hurt feelings if you don't talk about it. So we began to talk about it. I was blessed because early on in our marriage, your dad did a complete flip-flop from what I was describing. I mean,
Okay.
he heard some teaching or preaching somewhere with this idea of cherishing his
Well, I married a
life.
princess.
And he did. He treated me like a princess. And so he wasn't afraid to, I think he also hung around my dad a lot, and he saw my dad, he wasn't afraid to mend clothes if he needed, or iron clothes, or cook a meal. And
Right.
I think Gil jumped in right away, and he would help me do things, and I would even go out in the yard and help him mow. We started doing things together because we
Okay.
had fun doing things
Right.
together.
Right.
But it was a lot of communication. Obviously, I still had responsibilities,
Right.
and he had responsibilities.
Right.
Just because he's stronger, he's got more muscles. But
She just
Responsibility tells me.
and mainly because dirty diapers would make me throw up if I was pregnant. But
I don't remember. I think I had some good examples of people I saw that were married. I think about Coach Ashley, the guy that led me to Christ. He was always serving. He wasn't afraid to do the dishes, and I thought, when I get married, I'm going to be a good husband. I really want to be a help to my wife, and so we just did it all. We really did it all together. We kind of learned together.
He's probably ironed as many clothes as I have in my
Wow.
lifetime. He's definitely changed
What
more
a good
diapers.
man.
Oh, I do think maybe I could enter the Guinness Book of World Record for the most diapers changed.
Yeah.
How
By
many,
dad.
how many do you think that is?
It's up in the 25 or 30,000.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, what do they say? They say about 6 dirty diapers a day for a child, or you can multiply that by
Well, you
days
had three,
and by
but you had
children.
3 in
So-
diapers at a time
Oh
sometimes.
yeah.
Well,
oh yeah.
yeah,
Usually
so-
because we would have a
Right.
2-year-old, 1-year-old, and baby.
So, but honestly, just agree that we're going to work out to do
Yeah.
it the best.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's plenty of times I come home and there's dishes need to be done. I do the dishes.
Don't come home and complain to your wife.
Yeah. The one thing that
do
I'm
not come home and
thankful
say,
They just told us that in the
I was sharing this
marriage.
with one of your sisters the other day. One thing that I'm thankful for, because when you're pregnant 19 times, there's a lot of days of sickness and tiredness, and when you got that many kids running around, there's a lot of messes. Daddy did not have expectations for me, so if he came home and the house was trashed and I was depressed or crying, he'd say, "Don't worry, honey, I'll help you clean it up. Let's go out to eat tonight. Let me grab McDonald's." You know, he didn't hold it over my head. He worked with me as a team. And that is not to say we didn't have squabbles about other things, because we did.
We did.
That we had to work through. Yeah. But anyway, communication, that's key.
All right, I think Lydia has a question for
Okay.
you now. I'm trying to give you the hard, make you say
okay,
the hard way.
let me finish that last
Okay.
question about
Finish your-
chores.
Okay,
Mom said it to begin with. We were both raised different
right.
and how things work. Find out, talk about that before you get married. Hey, how would you like to handle this? How should we handle this? Because
Right.
and if you don't, you know what you're looking forward to, and then you may work out your own plan and do it together.
And know that you're both going to change. You're meshing 2 different people together to make something new and beautiful. So.
And there's always a chore for somebody. Do it as a
Yeah.
team.
I know.
Do it as a team. It always is more
Never
fun. Instead, chores are never done.
What was y'all's first argument after you got married?
Oh, I know this one. I know this one.
I told you we had some good
Okay.
questions.
We had
We'll tell you about that one on the next episode of Ask Me a Question.
we had barely been back from our honeymoon, and we were gonna go see my parents and then go see Gil's parents before we had to go back to college.
Okay.
And we were at Gil's parents' house, and we had a little argument over some pets. And I was a pet lover at the time. Gil wasn't so much.
No,
we got
no.
an argument over it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
and anyway, that was our first argument, and I realized that was the first realization that we have been raised different. We see things different. Everything's different.
well, I tell you.
Give us some details, Pops.
Okay, let me just say. Oh, I can. I can be discreet about it. Okay. What happened was, see, I grew up on a farm,
Okay.
and on a farm, you have animals.
You better not.
You have to protect your animals from things that would harm them, cougars or.
Okay. On to the next
We might
question.
have had
Here we
a little
go.
spat we might have had
Okay.
along the
Now
way.
that you just mentioned,
Well-
we do got a great question for you. As a newly married couple for y'all, how did y'all decide which in-laws to go to for holidays? And did y'all come up with something good over the years?
I feel like we have gravitated into a good plan for our kids
Okay.
because it was difficult for us when we got
Okay.
married to decide between the families. It was always a very difficult decision, and so we tried to make it easier on our children. So I can give this advice to if you're a mom or a mother-in-law. I try to pick holidays and to celebrate that are not on the actual day, so that the couples can go to the other families
Right.
on, like, so I will not celebrate Christmas Day on Christmas Day, but on a day before. And we'll celebrate, other holidays. Like, we put a lot of emphasis on Valentine's Day just because that's usually not a holiday that's sought after.
So
Yeah,
you're
most
making
families.
it really easy.
I want to make
for
it easy
us.
on my kids because it was such a hard decision for us. We did feel torn. We naturally gravitated to going more toward Mama Jane and Papa Bill's house because it was so kid friendly. They
Okay.
lived on a big farm.
Did
there
y'all
was-
alternate? Did y'all have a?
We did on certain years. We would alternate. We even had it at our house sometimes when, like, my dad, before he
Okay.
passed away, would come over, and my sisters. And so we did try to alternate. But when it comes down to that actual day, if you don't live close, you're choosing one over the other. So,
very difficult.
like Gil's brother, he alternates. One year they go to Thanksgiving at his
Okay.
parents and Christmas at hers, and the next year it switches.
Okay.
That's a great plan for families. I feel like we just, would agree together. This year we're going here. next year we're going here.
Right.
We didn't have a set scheme, but
Well-
I try to make it easier on my kids for them to decide now.
Well, one of the things we had Kelly's mom was in one place, my mom and dad in one place, and then Kelly's dad was in a different place. So trying to figure out, we would try to have a Christmas celebration or Thanksgiving celebration with each one, but it may not be on that particular day.
Right, 'cause
so we didn't do so we try to do a Thanksgiving with each party at some point.
Right.
And sometimes were successful, sometimes we weren't.
So they had a lot of.
But that is a
turkey.
topic that can cause a lot of hurt feelings, whether it's on the parents' end or on
Right.
the children's end. So anything that y'all can do to work it out, I think that Gil's brother came up with
I think
one
my
of the
brother
best
Greg
plans I've
and
heard.
Casey, they said that.
Alternating.
They started from the very beginning. We're going to do Thanksgiving here. If we do Thanksgiving at the Bates, they're going to do
Christmas.
Christmas
Yeah.
at her
Yeah.
family's, and then they would switch back every
Very
year. So
smart.
everybody, every year, each one had.
Right.
And that seemed to be really good
Right.
for them. We weren't smart enough to think of that.
All right, so we only got a couple more questions, and one of them is, since we are really close to our wedding day, we cannot wait. We're very excited.
I can't believe it. No.
We're trying to get all the last minute details. Mom has graciously been helping so much. We're trying to iron out all those details, and it's coming together. Keep watching and subscribe to our channel. You can watch the wedding.
Let's just
Coming
say
up.
for sure, at 5 o'clock
Yes,
on that
5:30,
day,
October
October the
1st.
1st, it is going to happen, whether you're ready
Yes,
or
it
not.
is. So we do really fast. Now talking about the wedding and everything. If you could go back to your wedding day, what's one thing you would change, or would you not? Is there anything like for us, since we're planning ours, is there something you would change? Just talk about that.
Yes, there were many things I would change. Many things. I think that I would have put more money into photography because pictures are so important to me, and that was one thing I scrimped on. And I put more emphasis on, things that weren't as important.
Right.
I think I would put less emphasis on the wedding looks and fanfare. Because like you said, you can do a sweet, cute, short, simple, cost-effective wedding, or
Right.
you can do a more expensive one. I think I would have put more of the money into the honeymoon. So I think I would have put more into the photography, more into the honeymoon, less into the wedding. Still have a special wedding, but I would have put less emphasis and money and time into that and put more onto the photography and honeymoon because that's your memories.
Right. Now,
That's-
Pops, anything about you, or you just like, oh, it's perfect?
Well,
You're a guy.
I was so happy to get married to my wife.
Okay.
Couldn't believe I was getting such a great deal. I mean,
Yeah, you got
best
lucky.
girl.
we were both lucky.
But we've told our children and couples we've counseled that something I wish we would have thought ahead of. Nobody talked to us about it.
Right.
To think about it was, if you get married, when you get married, don't try to make a long journey that evening to try to get somewhere or the next day. Get somewhere close so you're all gonna be tired from the wedding already. So go
Right.
somewhere close for 2 days. 2 days.
And
So-
then somewhere.
And then if you want to go
wonderful.
somewhere elaborate for your honeymoon, and that's wonderful if you can, then after 2 days of rest and not having to travel a long way,
No pressure.
then plan on going somewhere.
Right.
So you have a little time to recover. You're not so exhausted.
Because it's already
You know.
going to be such a long day.
Right.
I mean, it's already a long day.
Right.
She's not going to sleep the night before. You're going to think, wow, how am I going to get all this together?
Right.
So I would say stay somewhere close on your first couple of days after you're married, and don't try to go somewhere extravagant quite yet. But after that, spend all your money on the honeymoon.
Gotcha.
Spend all your money. If you come home broke, it's okay.
That's what our plan
You've
is.
got a whole lifetime to make
we
it up.
got 2 weeks in Hawaii, so we took
Yeah,
your
you
advice.
took my advice.
Yes, we did.
Good advice.
They're giving us some great advice.
Yeah.
We're loving that. So we got a
Yes,
couple more
ma'am.
questions, and this is it. So this is one that I don't know if I'm gonna get it out of my parents, but it's worth a try.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Let's
Okay,
see.
you're making me nervous.
I know what it is. I know the
Okay.
question. I know he's going to say.
Where did y'all have your first kiss?
Okay, I know the answer to that.
His dad.
I hope you have the same answer that I have. Okay.
It's been 35 years, 36 years probably by now.
Okay. Do you want me to give my answer
Oh,
first?
yes, please.
Yeah.
He don't remember.
Maybe I should have him give the answer
No,
first.
I think I remember.
He thinks. Okay. Well,
I remember the first time I kissed you on the head, but I didn't kiss you.
We had actually had.
Which I'm not promoting kissing before you get married. It was
Yeah,
we
we're
didn't
not.
know. We didn't know.
I'm just asking.
We
Well,
weren't smart enough.
We had actually had this long intermission in our relationship
Okay.
because I was mad at him,
Okay.
and we had not talked. We had not talked for months and months because he had actually asked me to start dating him, but then he kind of forgot on this date that he was supposed to show up and get me.
You're forgetting.
So we had.
You're kidding me.
Yeah,
He
so-
forgot a date?
Well,
Well,
it was
a
like
really-
the date. He had just asked me to start
And then
dating, and then he didn't show up, and
Forgiveness is
I
a
got
powerful thing.
ready.
That's in the next video, y'all.
I
Stay
got
tuned.
ready, and
We
all
will
my
have to tell you
friends
how
were
that happened.
ready.
Oh, honey, don't tell anymore.
Yeah,
So-
we can't tell it.
We'll
Okay.
save
That's
that.
in the
for another
upcoming
day.
video.
Oh,
Okay.
do you want the answer? So
We just wanna know when
anyway,
y'all
there
kissed.
had been this long intermission. We had not talked. He was at one school at Clemson. I was at
Okay.
another school at Anderson. And he had come to campus, and he saw me there. And he's like, wow, we hadn't talked in so long. And I'm like, yeah, hello. Did you forget something? Like,
I did. I had no idea. We'll save
Yes,
how
sure.
that
so
transpired.
anyway,
Oh my
he
goodness.
was a
I'm so
smooth
curious
talker.
about it.
And he's like, I'm really messed up. And he's like, I tell you what, I don't want to rush, but I've got to go clean my stuff out of my dorm right now, but I want to talk to you and catch up. Will you come with me? Now, I
That
was
is
thinking
not
I
smart.
probably shouldn't because I'm still mad at him, but he was such a smooth talker and so good looking
No,
that I
that's
thought
not true.
I'll just go help him for a little while pack his stuff. So I went, and while we were there, that was our first kiss. Kisses.
Okay.
Our first kisses.
We're going to the next question. That's a little much. Okay. This is
Is that the way you remember our first kiss?
Well, I remember the first time we drove up to that
Yes,
place.
we didn't kiss then, but that was
No.
when we first started asking to date. That was when I fell in love with you.
I really liked you, and
This
I
is
remember.
sweet.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
that
when
long
I asked if you
drive
wanted to hear
was
when we
sweet.
first were going
Yeah,
to
we
start
do.
dating.
We want to do that in upcoming
That's
video.
where I fell in love, and it's also where I want to have my vow renewal one day. It's called
Don't
pre-place.
don't tell nobody. We don't want that out.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
in
yeah.
the upcoming video. Okay. Here's the final question, y'all, and this is the one that everyone really wants to know. I want to know. Lydia wants to know. Everyone wants to know. So the suspense.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Who is y'all's favorite child?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Hi everyone. I hope you just enjoyed the Q&A with my parents. They are some really, really wise people, and so far me and Lydia have learned so much from them. It was fun just asking them some questions, figure out some things about them. But I'm sorry you did not hear the last question. The camera actually cut off. And if you want to know the answer, you know what? In a video coming out soon, we're going to have a part 2 with them. We're looking forward to that.
I know, it was like the best question.
It was. They said who was their favorite child.
They did, they answered it and it cut off, and now we don't have any
So,
video proof of
yeah.
that at all.
We have some other questions to ask them too. We're looking forward to doing a video in the future. Now, if there is any questions that y'all want to know, please drop your comments below and we will try to ask them on the next video.
Give us all the good questions.
So, in the upcoming video, we will have them again. I know in the future, the wedding is coming up pretty soon, so we're gonna have some videos of that. So stay tuned, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll see all the content.
Bye.